Hi, my name is Dr. Clifton from Newport Harbor Animal Hospital, and we're here to talk about cat acupuncture.
Dr. Clifton, what is cat acupuncture and how does it work for cats specifically?
So cat acupuncture is acupuncture that we do on our feline patients. It's very, very similar to the same that we do on our dog patients. They have the same meridians and the same points. It can help kitties with a variety of different conditions, and it's really good, and a lot of the times they really like it.
What conditions or health issues can acupuncture treat in cats?
So it can treat things like musculoskeletal pain, so osteoarthritis. It can also help with anxiety or feline lower urinary tract disease if we think they have some anxiety causing that. It can also help with things like IBD and a lot of different things, kidney disease too. It can really help as an adjunct therapy to our traditional Western medicine treatments.
Is acupuncture safe for cats?
Yes, it's actually very safe for cats.
How do I know if my cat is a good candidate for acupuncture?
So any kitty can be a good candidate for acupuncture. Generally, like them to be okay at the vet. So if we're kind of hissing and stressed out, it may not be the right modality for them, because if it's going to be more stressful for them to come here regularly, we don't want to stress them out. But a lot of cats will do a lot better than you think. You'd be very surprised. They're actually very good patients for their acupuncture.
How do I ask my vet about starting feline acupuncture for my cat?
So you can ask any of the practitioners here and they'd be happy to give you some information. We have different brochures and we can kind of talk about what the process is. If it's something that you want to do, we'll set up a consultation where we can kind of talk about it, answer any questions, set some goals, kind of talk about your cat specifically and see what we want out of it, kind of make a plan and decide if we think that's the modality for them, and then we'll kind of go from there.
What should I expect during a feline acupuncture session?
So you can expect us to kind of chat about how we're doing, whether it's the first session or subsequent sessions. We'll kind of put some needles in, and usually you guys will hang out with your little kitty for 10, 20 minutes, however long you decide. Usually if a needle falls out, we'll say that's just as long as they needed it. It's not high stress or anything like that. And we have this little kind of hedgehog, so if a needle falls out, you can just take the little needle and put it in there to make sure it doesn't poke anyone. And then we can kind of talk about scheduling your next appointment and go from there.
What should I do if my cat is anxious about acupuncture treatments?
So if they're anxious, we can start slow. So usually with the first session, I like to kind of work along their head and their back just because we're introducing them to acupuncture. So I want to make sure that it's a good experience and we don't hit a point that's going to be a little bit too strong and maybe make them more stressed. And then we can kind of gradually build up as your kitty needs and kind of work to what they need. And if they need a comfy bed or if they need treats, whatever they kind of need, we can kind of change it for them.
Are there different types of acupuncture techniques used for cats?
So the acupuncture techniques are going to be the same for the cats versus like a dog. You have the traditional dry needling, which we really commonly use. You can also do what's called electroacupuncture or acupressure. Sometimes we can even take the cold laser that we have, which is really great, and kind of put it on the meridians. And that's maybe something that would work for a kitty that's maybe a little bit more stressed and won't tolerate the dry needles for us. But every modality that we use in the dogs, we can also use in the cats.
How many acupuncture sessions will my cat need?
So it's very variable, kind of depending on what we're treating. So sometimes we can just do it for a couple weeks and then taper down to a more maintenance schedule, whether that be once a month, once every couple months. But it really just depends on the individual patient, the individual case, and what we kind of decide.
How long does a typical acupuncture session for cats last?
Usually the appointments are going to be about 45 minutes to an hour because we kind of talk, we make a plan, we let those needles sit, and then we kind of do whatever else you need while we're here. But usually about 45 minutes to an hour.
What are the potential benefits of acupuncture for my cat?
So potential benefits could be treating whatever little disease ails them, if they have any pain or anxiety, but definitely lots of different benefits for blood flow. It releases endorphins. It can help with pain management, all that stuff.
Are there any risks or side effects associated with cat acupuncture?
So acupuncture itself is generally very, very safe. Some of the risks would be like a hematoma where we put the needles, because all these acupuncture points are kind of at neurovascular bundles. But we always say if that happens, it's just stimulating the point longer. We always have the risk of them eating a needle, which we always try to be very diligent about not letting them do that. And then of course, if you poke them in the eye, but we're trained and we make sure that we place them safely so that things like that don't happen.
Are there any cats who shouldn't undergo an acupuncture session?
I would say if your kitty's going to be more stressed being here, so if they really, really don't like the vet and are not very handleable, I don't necessarily think they would be a great candidate for coming in for weekly sessions or bi-weekly sessions, just because we don't want to stress them out more doing this. But most cats can be a good candidate for acupuncture.
Can acupuncture help with behavioral issues in cats?
Yes, it can. Definitely as an adjunct therapy to our traditional things like training and different medications to kind of help with stress, but it is something that we can kind of use as an adjunct therapy. I will say it takes a little bit longer and you have to be patient, and sometimes the effects are a little bit less, but with being diligent and everything like that, we can always try.
Can acupuncture be used alongside other veterinary treatments?
Yes, it definitely can. And I think it's very, very great in complementing our Western medicine. I think it's very, very valuable in that way.
How should I prepare my cat for an acupuncture session?
You don't have to do anything special, just come with anything that they're comfortable with. So if they have a special bed, kind of like Odin, or if they have a favorite treat, a churu, anything like that, kind of bring that and we'll figure out what makes them the most comfortable and we'll kind of figure it out.
What can I do at home to support my cat's acupuncture treatment?
So some things that you can do at home are letting them rest after their treatments, because sometimes they can be a little bit tired. If we think maybe they would benefit from acupressure, we can kind of pick some points for you to do at home, but mainly just kind of letting them rest and relax and heal.
How can I tell if acupuncture is helping my cat?
So definitely sometimes the changes can be very subtle. So always looking for little things like, oh, we weren't able to jump up on that level of the cat tree before, or oh, we weren't able to groom back here because we had arthritis pain. Things like that, or little things to look up for. Sometimes it can take multiple sessions for you to see meaningful improvements. So we always just have to be checking in with each other to see how we're doing and kind of gauge based on that. Thank you for listening about cat acupuncture. If you guys have any questions, you can give us a call and we'd be happy to chat and set up a consultation. And I can't wait to meet your fur babies.